What should you do when you receive an alert in Azure Defender? There are some actions that you can take immediately. There are some actions that you can take to prevent that alert to happen in the first place. In this episode, we have Eli back to the show to talk about troubleshooting alerts in Azure Security Center and Azure Defender. Welcome everyone to Azure Security Center in the Field, episode 24. Again, thank you very much all the listeners, the audience for the support. Make sure to subscribe to Microsoft Security channel on YouTube. Hit the bell to receive notifications when new videos are uploaded. Today we actually have part 2 of this great interview that we had initially with Eli. So it was Troubleshooting Azure Security Center Part 1, where he talked about some common scenarios. And now we have Troubleshooting Azure Security Center Part 2, where it's actually more around Azure Defender this time, because we are going to talk about troubleshooting alerts. Eli, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Hi. Nice to be here again.
Absolutely, my friend. So, alerts. That's a very important topic. And one question that you probably receive a lot, I receive, so you receive probably way more on the support side is, okay, I got this alert, now what to do, right? So first of all, give us some overview of what to look for when you receive an alert, because I know there are different alert types, so you might look at different things, but with your experience, what are the most common issues that customers face when they are dealing with alerts?
Right, yes. So just to make clear at first that we support all type of cases or type of support requests coming from customer, but it is important to understand that if the alert is true positive, then the customer needs to find a professional help immediately or engage our own incident response team here in Microsoft, which is a paid service that helps them, mitigate the compromised environment. The support tickets that we receive are mainly for false positive investigation, questions about why did I get this alert, questions or requests for more evidence per alert. And this is the area we help customers the most. And still, we have plenty of alerts coming from all over. We have many providers. We have many other services and products integrated with Azure Security Center. So each alert has to be examined the way that I'm going to show later on.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I guess one question that maybe come up a lot is to clarify what the alert means, right? For example, people when see alerts, for example, a lot of amount of download was done on the key vault. They want to understand what this amount means, right? How the alert was triggered. So those questions sometimes comes up. How this alert was triggered? What was the threshold for this alert to get triggered, right?
Right, yes. Well, we don't provide and disclose all of our logics and heuristics for obvious reasons. We don't want attackers to understand us better than we do, right? So, but yes, there are certain parameters or values or certain numbers that can be explained. As you said, for example, brute force attack is considered brute force if certain of attempts for login for your resources is detected in a short time. So for example, if you had like 600 attempts in a minute logging into any resource, it doesn't make sense that it's a human action. You see clearly that is some kind of automation trying to access your resource. So we trigger the brute force attack alerts.
Yeah, so we
Other
also
example,
have some suppression on the back end to avoid creating a lot of noise,
yes,
right?
right. So yes, if you figure out, so let's step back a little bit and say that alerts is not 100% true positive. Okay, we telling you, hey, we detected this attempt to brute force, or we detected this unusual location access, or we detected unfamiliar sign-in, all these kinds of things that we alert on, and it is up to you, the customer, to verify if it's true positive or not. Because if you have one-time access from a different country of a certain guest you have, it might be legitimate, and then you say, okay, this alert is for me, it's false positive because I'm aware of this action and it is legitimate for me. And in this case, you can go ahead and either dismiss this alert or provide a rule for suppression for future alerts that come in that regard,
Okay.
for that action.
Let's jump into some demonstration here for you to show some examples of common alerts and what to do with when you receive that alert, right?
Okay, so I'm showing here my own subscription alerts page from Azure Security Center. And as you can see, I'm having a lot of adaptive application control alerts and then some AKS alerts. This is a real alert that I'm receiving here, and I'll show you how I deal with it. So first of all, you click on the alert. Before you click on it, actually, you have this all the properties in columns, mainly when this alert was detected and received here, and which is the affected resource or compromised resource the alert is presenting. This one, I click the few details, so you will have a full view. There's not much to it. The explanation is over here. Let me just show you. The explanation is over here. You have the alert description telling you what happens here, meaning that the below user, this one over here, is running an application that the policy is warning you about. Okay, possibly expose machine to malware or application vulnerabilities. So I'll keep checking this detail. You have affected resource telling you exactly on which machine it talk about, which subscription. The meter attack tactics meter over here also indicated. If you want to know more about it, click here and learn more. It's a global service for knowledge base for alerts, okay, and the tactics for alerts. So as I said, learn more here. And then we have two different tabs over here on the alert itself. First is the alert detail over here, telling you that this is the path was detected as not legitimate process that is a warning about, telling you which is the user that was running this process. In this example, it's the root, which file was manipulated, and of course the host again. What can I do? Take action here gives you exactly the steps to follow and mitigate. Now, this is like a post action that you do to mitigate this threat, okay? And it's up to you to check your resource and check if this process that it's running is legitimate and done by a legitimate user in this time scale. This alert obviously is legitimate by me. Yes, I did enter with root and I did some actions on this machine, so I can just go ahead and dismiss this, just to make it disappear from the list. Dismiss does not mean it deletes the alert or anything. It only means that it will remove it from the list over here, so I know that it's been dealt with. Different example, I can take a Windows machine. Let's say that here in Windows machine, I do have more things to do with this alert. And again, this is coming from the same resource, adaptive application control policy violation detected. I examine again the path or the file that is in question, and I can immediately say, hey, this is legitimate process. I want to allow that, and I don't want to see these alerts. So I have two options. The one option, okay, if I go to text actions, one option is to suppress the alert altogether. If I click create suppression rule, automatically this new suppression rule brings all the relevant details and the names and so on. And I can give it a name, a test rule. Once completed, okay, it does not allow to have spaces, so this. The reason is really important for us to understand, because this is something PG or the engineering are looking later on and to examine the quality of the alerts. And the reasoning here give them a good idea why it was suppressed. In this case, I believe this one is legitimate, so I can click on this probably noisy or different, and then I click apply. Once applied, once the back, before applied, I can click simulation run on my subscription, telling me how many alerts I have, and if I will apply here, how many alerts will be suppressed. So I click apply here, and once clicking apply, all future alerts of that kind can be will be suppressed and will not show in my list of alerts. But as a security guy, I can tell you that the best action you can do is to prevent this alert altogether before it reaches out. To prevent alerts, you have many options. And first of all, of course, is go to Azure Security Center recommendations and apply the recommendations, which are essentially a bunch of recommendations and advices how to harden your environment and prevent any vulnerabilities or exploit areas in your environment.
Okay, so Ali, just going back here real quick,
Yes.
there are, as you were showing, one particular alert for adaptive application control. There are different alert types, right? So it's very important also to clarify that the metadata that you see in the alert itself varies according to the alert type, because sometimes we receive an alert that you never seen before, and you might have way more information on that alert than you have in a different type of alert. So with your experience, there are a lot of customers that call to ask questions about the metadata, why the metadata is not the same. What is your perspective on that?
Yes, that's true. A lot of alerts looks different, although the essence of it is the same. And it really depends on the resource of the compromised entity. What type of the compromised entity? Is it a web service? Is it a storage account, SQL, the database, or virtual machine? It could be many things. And PG also took this into consideration and provided us a pretty cool tool, which call sample alerts. Okay, right here you have the sample alerts. Once I click it, I select what type of alerts I want to see sample for in order to compare to my alert. And I can just have them all and click create. Within 2 or 3 minutes, I will have the sample alerts populated here, and I can view them and compare them to my own real alert. Other things to check is, again, once the sample alerts will be here, we can see again, the steps that you can take in order to validate this alert.
Okay. Yeah. The simple alerts is a great addition to help you to not only validate but also to understand the metadata that is available for the alert. Just one thing that is important to notice is that the alerts on the simple alerts are only for alert types that are in GA, right? So if they are in public preview, they are not going to show up there. So that's
They're not going to.
very important to
Right.
mention that as well. As far as investigation, right? Let's say you said very clearly that if it is a true positive, customer probably need to go in a different route and talk with incident response team and move on from there. But when you take a call for a customer that is just want to validate the alert if it is really a true or false positive. Most of the troubleshooting that you do is on the back end, right? It's not something that customers have access to, correct?
Right, that's correct. We have additional information in the backend, but the truth is that we tend to expose as much as of the information to the customer as much as possible without providing any additional compromise. For example, right, if we tell you exactly how we detected it and what was the pattern that led to detect this alert, malicious activity might find a way around that. So we don't want to disclose that, as I said, but we do trying to provide as much information as we can. And actually, in the backend, I have only administrative additional information in order for me to understand or to know to which team to go to in order to check their alerts. As I said, we have a lot of other alert providers. So if the alert is on their area, my information tells me exactly who to talk to and how to escalate this alert for investigation for that team. And when we find an issue, sometimes a false positive do occur. And so it's the alert provider responsibility to improve and fix the false positive, make sure to trigger better and more accurate alerts.
Right. Yeah, with your experience of dealing with those scenarios, do you have like in your mind, I'm not sure if you do, but what will be like the top two most common alerts that people open case to better understand?
Yeah, yes, we have, it really depends. Every month when we review all the alerts, it varies, but the most common alerts come in for brute force attacks. We have a lot of alerts coming from the endpoint or anti-malware from your resources, from your viruses detections and so on. We have anomalies detection, like unusual location of familiar sign-ins. Again, from if you're, for example, we have integration with MDE, which are detecting a lot of anomalies, and we have some other bundles that detecting anomalies, alerts, and so on. We have a lot of suspicious network activities that triggered from our network hardening feature, which is monitoring or tracking your incoming and outgoing network traffic and trying with machine learning to identify what is legitimate network activity, and we trigger alerts on that, and some crypto mining activities, and more of that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, Eli. Before we wrap up, do you have any final consideration or advice that you want to give to our audience regarding troubleshooting alerts and what they should do first? Do you have any final thoughts on that?
Yes, read carefully the advisory we give. If, for example, the steps to take or take action is PG doing a lot of effort in reaching them. They are improving in time, getting more and more advisors. So read that carefully and try to follow up on that. As a protective measures, please follow Azure Security Center recommendations and try to remediate the recommendation. This will strengthen your environment and the whole security posture. As you have better security, you get less alerts. And that's my advice, really.
Yeah, that's great, and I totally agree with that. So think about the secure postures cycle, right? They have the prevention, the detection, the response. Think that when you are looking to the alert is actually your response. You already have the detection that triggered the alert. Now you are responding, and now you are taking action to improve the secure posture. So it's an ongoing life cycle. So just think about that. You continuous improvement.
Exactly.
All right, Eli, thank you very much again for your participation on this second round. I truly appreciate that.
Thank you, Yuri, for hosting me, and I hope our customer will find this beneficial.
Absolutely, I think it was great. All right, everyone, that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for your audience. Make sure again to visit aka.ms/ASC in the field. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and receive notifications. We are always adding new videos, and Azure Security Center in the field is just getting started. We have a lot more to come. Thank you very much. See you next time.